Hello and welcome to another video, and this one is going to be a double review, and this is for the wrap up of the series for Bridget Jones Diary, and this is the last one that I need to review and put online. And I am doing another series in the same vein, and that is of The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I have, by the time this is uploaded, both vlogs should be up online, and I just need to review them and put that up too. So to make this easier for me, so I don't have to do two videos, I'm going to quickly do two written at once, and put them in the separate playlist, in each playlist, so that you can find what you need really, and link things in the description where needed. So I'm going to start off with the Bridget Jones one because that's the quickest to get through. I've got the least amount of notes for that. So to start off, I will say that I enjoyed this like the previous books. I gave this 3.5 stars, simply because of one thing at the start. The writing was fine. It was the same easy, simple thing to get through as the last two. For the writing, no problems there, I guess. The plot was as silly and as daft as ever, though I did get slightly confused by a jump from like one small thing to the next. Later on in the book, it took a moment to realise that there was a jump. Though I will mention at the start of the book, there is a little bit of dodgy behaviour from Daniel, who knows that Bridget had a few drinks and he has every intention of having sex with her, but gets stopped beforehand. Trying to take advantage of Jones a little bit, but he didn't get the chance. Just as a quick warning there for that. Darcy did have a bit of an arsey moment during the book, which was sorted out by the end. He managed to get spoken to and the miscommunication sorted, so he did see some sense. Daniel in this was as greasy and as squirmy as ever. Bridget's mother was as outrageous and as farty as mothers can be. Though it's a little bit sad that I've read this last, because Mad About the Boy, I understand what happens in that book, so I feel like I should have read this as like a book in between the first and second one, which makes the most sense plot wise, for the story. So I recommend Bridget Jones Diary, then Bridget Jones Baby, then Mad About the Boy, for the sake of plot here, because knowing something that happens in Mad About the Boy, it's a little bit sad knowing what's coming, but otherwise generally enjoyable. Recommend. Haven't seen the film for this yet. I have seen the other two, or at least the first one, just haven't caught up on all of the movies. And the second review is for The Fellowship of the Ring, which is book 1 in the Lord of the Rings series, and I do have my notes down here that I'm looking at, just so you know that I'm looking down. And when I first started reading this, I was worried, simply because it was a fantasy classic. Scares the life out of you if you've not read it. And having read, or at least attempted, a Game of Thrones, I got halfway through book 4 and stopped. And it was a little worried that if it was anything like a game, if it was anywhere near as difficult for concentration as a Game of Thrones, then I was scared I wouldn't enjoy it. But it actually isn't that bad. It's not hard to understand. It's actually very nice to read, and I enjoyed it. It worked out very well for this because I do plan to continue with book 2, which I have purchased already. So again, it wasn't it wasn't overly complicated, and I had a lot of fun kind of picking out the things in the book that were also in the films. There was stuff in here that also wasn't, that they couldn't get into the film. And there is a character in here that I was initially very confused by. I think is it Bombardier? It may be, I'm not sure. But is it Tom Bombadil? That's it. And I was confused by his chapter in here. Like, I didn't understand why his character was necessary. But having looked at some discussions on Facebook and things, someone did make a good point of that is kind of the opposite of Sauron, and kind of having a little discussion on that post, which kind of made some sense after going through some of that, because his character does, he does this, he's got his little land where he is kind of in charge of it, but he kind of just he isn't the negative force, he's the positive, helps people who genuinely do need a bit of help where he can where he can reach out in space, that is his, which Sauron is the opposite in his doom and death and evil. I found the descriptions and the pacing to be very, very good in here actually. It wasn't too long-winded or anything in regards to the descriptions of places where they were. The pacing was good in regards to wanted to keep reading, and I did regularly feel like I was actually there when I was reading it. But that is in part due to the writing, and also because of the movie. I could kind of grasp some of the imagery from the movie as well, so that made it nice and easy. I loved the characters in this. Obviously Frodo, Gandalf, Gimli, Legolas, and my favourite was Aragorn, because I've kept thinking about Viggo Mortensen in it, and it's great. And Pippin, or the second breakfast. I don't think the second breakfast thing was in the book though. I think that was just a nice thing added to the movie. But I love the movie version of Pippin as well. The characters are very fascinating. They all have backstories and lore, which I'm sure more of it will come out in the rest of the books, which I look forward to getting to, and I look forward to bringing out more vlogs and reviews for these. So yes, I believe I gave this 4.5 stars on Goodreads, or more. Read more, and then a 4-star on Goodreads. So yes, that is all for today's reviews. So I hope you've enjoyed those today. I hope you come back to watch the rest of the vlogs for The Lord of the Rings, and I'll hopefully see you soon.